my sales time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my sales time. Gonna mess up your whole mind. This is my sales time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my.
Welcome to Work the Left Side. I am hyped to announce tonight's guest. They are back in the house. The HotTag Foundation are back to talk. Last time I spoke to Dan. This time I get Dan and Lauren. So it's double trouble, the dynamic duo. Are you both good?
Yeah, well, good. How are you?
5 by 5. Too blessed to be stressed, in the words of Tim Strange.
Beautiful. Yeah, all good for you as well, Nick. And it's good to have more than just me this time. And I think hopefully Lauren's going to be a great example of our volunteer drive and how we got more people involved. So it's very exciting to have more people on. So I'm very excited to see how the answers come out.
This is it, because that's it. I mean, obviously, when you and me spoke last year, Dan, it was kind of like, everything was kind of, you were just getting the ball rolling still, and it's like a state of infancy. It was getting the word out there. You guys were being at shows, seeing blue hoodies everywhere. Just about to launch the first Toyal Rumble, which I believe was a huge success. Obviously, more details of it, but I know from a fan's perspective, from word of mouth, people were talking about it. People were happy to get behind it, give it a push, do what they could do to help. So, please let me know, reassure me that it was a success and you guys managed to spread the love and give loads of wrestling toys out.
First of all, I will say the last time I was on this podcast was during a week worth of podcasts, which I thought was a great idea to book, which was a terrible idea to book in, especially when I was on every single one of them. But yeah, it was. I still remain as passionate about the project as I did back in August last year. Now in November 2025, so I'm still very passionate about it. So yeah, as we go into a Toyal Rumble 2 drive, it is good to look back at how successful the first inaugural Toyal Rumble was, and the success that we was able to bring from it. It was very much, as I said earlier, it's the undying need to know if it's going well. And there's no way of knowing it's going well until you see physical donations in your presence. Or like I remember, I think the moment hit me when I had about 300 toys lined up in my living room, and I was taking pictures and logging them all into spreadsheets and God knows what else. But that was just a mind-blowing experience to start the drive, just to feel all these donations coming in, people putting trust in us. When there's argument that there's a lot of distrust in wrestling, and we just wanted to be a shining blue light that people are in there to be trusting, and people are in there to do some good in the community as well. For all three of us here, hopefully, are a great example. So the first Toyal Rumble drive went really well. We had some great partnerships from that start, including Wrestle Island and Kingdom Wrestling, who gave us the most unbelievable first gift that we could ever receive, was the fact that they were going to do a Toyal Rumble show, including a Toyal Rumble style match, which was just unbelievable. I remember walking home and Gaz messaging me saying, "Dude, answer your phone." And I was like, okay. I was like, "I've got a great idea, Toyal Rumble, the show." And I was like, it's beautiful. Not like I'd thought about it in the back of my head about 100 times prior to this, but I don't want to like jump in and be like, "Hi, you should use your money and book a show for us." But yeah, when Gaz came up with the idea himself, I will say himself, I didn't pressure him into it. When he came up with the idea, he was very much like, "This is a great idea, let's work together." And he gave us a great insight into like the charity work that they do at Kingdom, and then the Onward and how they create partnerships with other charities as well. So that was a very insightful experience. But to sum it all up, we over the course of the 4 months that we were there, we visited over 25 to 30 promotions up and down the country. We spoke to a variety of promoters, fans, talent, photographers, everyone that we could speak to. And then when the drive, come to a conclusion after the Toyal Rumble event, we have over 300 toys to be able to be donated without taking any sort of cash ourselves. We stood by the way as a non-profit, and we wanted to make sure that was very important in the first 6 months, that we didn't take any cash, we didn't accept any cash, we wouldn't accept any cash, and we only accepted physical donations that could be logged, which are still logged on our OneDrive as well. So it's all there, it's all backed up, and it's all 100% transparent for all the team, and anyone needs to see it. So yeah, very successful drive. We visit some lovely hospitals. We met some great people. We met some great kids, which was a mind-blowing experience for me. And I really can't say much more on it, except the fact that this year is going to be twice as good because I've got a huge team behind me, and a very, very capable team who've got great insight into the British wrestling community already. Lauren's a great example of that. Her insight and knowledge is far beyond mine, far will exceed mine for many years to come. And I'll try my best to get involved, but I say this to Lauren all the time: I'm not here for politics. I'm here to have fun. So that's the important part. Just have fun, have a great time. And Toyal Rumble 2 is definitely hinting at that.
Right. So yeah, you've obviously come on board, Lauren, since I spoke to Dan last. I mean, obviously when you came on board, was it a case of like knowing what to expect, or you just legitimately blown away as well by the generosity? Because it sounds like the first Toyal Rumble, it was a huge success. People were giving, because Dan, I mean, I'm sidebar for a quick second. You mentioned something there which jumped out at me, which is one of the reasons I wanted to speak to you in the first place last year, was the kind of distrust within the wrestling scene, or just human nature kind of thing of good people trying to do good stuff. Sets off alarms for some reason. People are like, hang on a minute, there's got to be a catch. No, there must be something. It's one of the reasons I wanted to speak to you last year, because I know a few people that were like on the fence a little bit, be like, no, I can't be. And I was like, look, let me speak to Dan. We'll get the word out there. And after that episode, I think a few people were like, oh, okay, no, they are good people. I was like, yeah, of course they are. So I think you had that hurdle to overcome, which is a crazy hurdle to overcome. You've kind of got to prove to everyone that you are good people doing good stuff, because it's just human nature to not trust it. But I think that's what's happened, is you've got that reputation now. People know it's credible. People know you're legit. And I sort of say, as a team as a whole, when anybody who meets you at a show just can tell. Like I said, I've said it a few times, I'm going to keep saying it to try and draw the point home, is you're good people doing good stuff. That's it. End of.
That's the important part of it. Like we are just trying to do something nice. It's not, we've got no alternative motive of doing this. It's just this was something that means a lot to all of us collectively. And on the onboarding of people like Lauren and Jamie and stuff like that, it wasn't such a fair enough. I will say that I did wear Lauren and Jamie down to get on board, but that's another story. But all the people that we've onboarded have gone through an extensive process of a volunteer application, code of conduct. Like they've got many things. We had reference checks and everything. Like even though it's not something that's generating money, and it's not something that we look towards generating money, but it's still very important that we have DBS checks. We have all these important things in mind, because we are legit, we are serious, and it doesn't matter that we don't, we're not a profitable business. We are a non-profit organisation, and we will stick to being a non-profit organisation to make sure that people can trust us. And as long as it takes for people to trust us, we'll keep being a non-profit organisation. And when we first started, I made it very clear that the people that I was speaking to in promotions-wise, I wanted to speak to them face-to-face. I wanted to speak to them on a video call. I wanted to speak to them so they can know our face, they can know the branding, they can know who we are. And that's something that's resonated throughout the whole process and the whole last 18 months of our tenure. So I will continue to do that, to continue to meet people at shows, shake people's hands, and showcase what we can offer. So that's where we're going to stand on that. There is, arguable there's a lot of distrust in the community. We're not trying to be that. We're trying to show that there are good in the community, and people that we on board, such as like Louis as well, who is a huge part of what we're going to be doing moving forward. Shout out to Louis and Jamie going to Wrestle Island this weekend. But Louis just encapsulates the spirit of British wrestling, and we are so happy he's on board. So I appreciate the question. I will let you ask Lauren a question now. She's sat there eagerly waiting to answer. You can tell she's a podcast host herself. She's sat there waiting. But yeah, thank you for the question.
No, apologies, Lauren. I just had to get that out there. Just like popped inside, I kind of like started talking to you, and then I was like, oh crap, it happens a lot. You're kind of, for anybody who's watched episodes before will be like, yeah. So yeah, anyway, what I was asking is, obviously you've come on board, and kind of was like being swept away by, just what everybody was doing, just being involved, being at the shows, seeing the reaction, like the HotTag Foundation gets at shows now. It must be very cool to be a part of.
So obviously when I first met Dan, I was working with another company who was on the periphery of BritRest doing merchandise and things like that. And that was how I sort of met Dan. And it was a bit of a baptism of fire, because I think the first real time I spent with Dan was the Kingdom Toyal Rumble show. And Dan was doing Dan and was talking to everybody, was promoting HotTag, and there was just toys upon toys upon toys flying at us. So I kind of ended up leaving what I was supposed to be doing of selling merch, and I was just sat on the floor separating toys, logging them all, trying to decide what was going to Blackpool, what was going to Leeds, what was going to Airedale, just trying to make sure there was a balance of stuff going everywhere. And it was just a bit of a baptism of fire, and Dan asked me to get involved pretty much that night, I think. But I was at a point that my health wasn't great, and I was already doing a lot as it was, and I kept saying down, I'm like, I can't commit anything else. Then the company I had been working for, I ended up leaving. They've then dissolved. And I was still sort of like, I was trying to get myself back on track and figure out what I wanted to do. And I still had Dan in my ear, come on, just help, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I was like, eventually I sort of was like, you can feel the passion with Dan of what he wants to do, and you can see the response, especially now with the sign making and things like that, the effect it has with the kids. And like being at True Grit, we have loads of kids coming through the door. Some of them we see at the show. Some of them, I had 2 little girls come and sit down with me, not last show, the show before, and they were like massive. One was a massive Bron Breakker fan, and one was a massive Cody Rhodes fan, but they had never been to BritRest before. So we went through the poster to see if there was anyone that they liked the look of, and they were like, oh, I don't know. So we ended up just doing generic wrestling signs, but then they came back to me at the interval and they were like, oh my God, Rio's amazing. And like, it's that I love. It's the kids that you see time and time again, but then seeing the new people come in and helping ignite that passion in them. It's one of the reasons I do everything that I do with the merch and whatever, because it's anything I can do to help the talent get over what they're trying to portray, to involve everybody in the business, I'm all for. Whether that's being on the merch, announcing, whether it's with HotTag, I'll take any opportunity I can.
That's awesome. You say you were sat on the floor, you know, like logging the toys. I mean, you just kind of sat there like this, just fighting. Mimicking what we're seeing in the ring, like
Thankfully, most of them are boxed, so I couldn't get too distracted.
No, fair. That's why, because I did ask, like, you know, do you take unboxed one? And I was like, well, I would prefer unboxed. That's why they prefer them boxed. Now we know it's just so you can't sit there and play with them all night.
Yeah, so I don't get distracted, but also it makes it so much easier to make sure everything's clean and not contaminated when they're going into hospitals. Obviously, last year we had probably stricter COVID guidelines than I think we do this year. I think we've got a little bit more leniency, but it's still the safer we can make things going into hospital. Obviously, we don't really want to be sending soft toys and stuff in that can get germs and stuff. Like, it's not wipeable. I think anything that's easy clean, easy maintenance, not going to make loads of noise, stuff like that. Like I say, I think Dan posted today on our Instagram. Was it Smith's, Dan, that everything was on sale?
100% Smith's, £5,
Smith,
£7, £9 unit.
Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, The Rock. The Rock was a tenner. Like, so there was so many. There you go. So many of the figures are like between 7 and 15 quid. Anything like that, it makes a massive difference to these kids that are either stuck in hospital over Christmas, or like their families who are hanging around hospital trying to spend time with them. It makes such a difference, and anything anyone can donate will be massively appreciated.
Yeah, 100%. And just to follow on that as well, like one of the main reasons why we started this was because, like, we wanted to make sure that American wrestling was so expensive coming over to the UK, and wanted to make sure that people know there is British wrestling on the sidelines, where it's £3 a ticket in some places, £1 a ticket in some places, £5, £10 for a great show, and I want to make sure that people can have local role models, not just the Americanized, huge giants of people, but stars like Adam Ball, Tony Wright, Lana Austin, people like that could be role models in the local area instead of waiting every year and pay £500 to go see, a larger superstar in the WWE or in AEW. So it's very important that stars like Rio and stuff like that, given that light in British wrestling, to be able to introduce new young people into the art form and
real people. That's one big thing for me, especially with the women. It's having real role models, people like Rio, who goes out. She's not got a face full of makeup because she's friggin' stunning as she is. Like, she's not a twig. She's not working every hour in the gym to look like a size 6. She's working every hour in the gym to be the best, strongest performer that she can be.
Yep.
Like, I absolutely love that we have such a mix of, you can go from, just off the top of my head, you go from guys like Dave Birch, who's literally looks like he's got 0% body fat, and flips around the ring like nothing else. And you go to Will Cruz, who he'll hold his hands up and say he's a much bigger gentleman, but he'll still fucking flip off the top rope. Excuse my language, don't know whether but there's such a wide span of looks, races, sexualities, and it's all accepted. My big thing with HotTag is when people say, like, what is HotTag and why do you do it? I'm like, there's so much love within British wrestling. The fans are all like family. Like, you go backstage and it's harnessing that love and pushing it to the people that need it. And there's a lot of, from the outside, wrestling fans tend to be seen as a bit weird and, stay away from them. So the fact that HotTag is sort of taking all this joy and love from the BritWres community and going, okay, let's push it out to the communities around us, it's wonderful for me.
I think that's one beautiful thing about HotTag for me, is that when people say, what is HotTag, there's no one right answer in what we are. We're just people trying to have a good time and trying to have fun and meet new people. And if it means making sure someone has a safety blanket when being a show, not a physical safety blanket, of course, but like us to look after and think that, like, we've had people come up to us and say, like, I always love when you guys are here because you look after my child, have a great time, it gives them experience and stuff like that. And that's the pure joy that we get out of it. You can't narrow it down to one thing. It's such a spectrum of what we do that it's not like, we go to shows and make signs. No, we go to shows, we interact with people, we speak to real people, we speak to the young people who are interested in the sport, and we try and drive that. If people come once, they want to come back again because we've given them not just the amazing talent that's been put on the card, but just that extra little bit of reason to come back. It's very important to us that we can be that part. And the amount of people who come back to the True Grit shows now and say, like, we're so excited you guys are coming because we love making signs and stuff like that. And it's like, it's not something that a lot of promoters have been able to facilitate in the time because they've got enough on the plate. And if we can do alleviate just a little bit to alleviate their workload and alleviate one aspect of their show which could form some sort of improvement to the experience of the fans, HotTag, reach out. Here we are. We want to be there.
Yeah, I think we have to give a massive shout out to JC and the True Grit team. I mean, I know Dan had the True Effing Grit sign up then when I was talking, but they really have embraced us with open arms, and JC's just kind of gone, do you? He's given us so much space. He's like, he will always find a spot for us. He's got so much going on show days. But also Mark sponsoring the HotTag match, absolutely incredible. So it's not just opportunities for fans and stuff that we're bringing, and it was never, I don't know about Dan, but I never dreamed that we would be able to help give opportunities to talent. But for someone like Vusyk, who has aspirations of being on the bigger promotions, he wants to get to Rev Pro, he wants to get to Progress, and Mark has put on a match with our brand name on it, which has put him not just against, but beating a man who was champion in both those companies. Like, that puts Vusyk on the map for everyone.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's crazy that that's got HotTag on it. It blows my mind a little bit.
It blows my mind too, like how the trajectory of where we've become, and it's like, because there's no data to show like, oh, we're doing so well. There's not. We just look at what we're doing and think, wow, another milestone. It could be the smallest thing to other people, but to us it's huge. Like having a title belt at True Grit Wrestling on a True Grit card after what we first started the relationship in April, and then by October we had a championship match with our title belt on the shirt. Fair enough. It was funded by a very generous man, Mark Brown. I'll give a huge shout out to Mark Brown. But it's still the fact that it was last minute. It was like Vusyk versus Jacobs. What can we do to add to that? Add to it. It's like, we're gonna put the belt on the line. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. He's like, you be here at 6 o'clock with the belt. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll be there. Like, that's fine. It was so last minute, and people just adapted to it straight away. That's another beautiful thing you see, behind the scenes. Like, it's just so adaptable and so quick, and so the energy and the positivity backstage is just unreal. So the fact that we was able to get a belt on the line there is just unbelievable, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because I think there's going to be some very, very important things coming up with HotTag and True Grit soon. So keep your eye out, keep your eyes peeled.
Well, we will obviously be hyping it up, because we love you guys, and obviously we're closely associated with True Grit as well. So we'll be shouting from the rooftops to let everybody know what's going on when we know what's going on. I've got to ask, so is Vusyk recognised now as the HotTag champion?
He is indeed. He is.
Nice.
He's recognized at True Grit Wrestling as the HotTag champion. I will say that the HotTag championship is still being used at Kingdom Wrestling as part of the Toyal Rumble show. It is handed to the winner of the Toyal Rumble show. But I can't stress this enough, because I've had so many conversations about it. It needs to be looked at like the Marvel universe, and it needs to think that True Grit and Kingdom have nothing to do with each other, and it's like, it's completely different things. And I think it also adds to the fact that we're all over the place, and to have the opportunity in both. And I remember, because when JC asked me to put the belt on the line, first thing I did was ring Gaz, and I was like, Gaz, I've got an opportunity here. And he's like, yeah, do it. It's gonna be great. And it's so cool to have that synergy between two promotions that maybe not correspond with each other as much as you'd expect in the wrestling community, but just to have that is just exceptional. And it's still going to be used at Kingdom. It will be prominently used at Kingdom for the Toyal Rumble winner. We just need to work out the logistics of getting it back and forth all the time, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I've got plenty of time coming up soon. I'm sure.
Yeah, nothing major happening now or anything, no. But that's it. I mean, it must just be mind blowing. You're talking about that, Luke Jacobs Vusyk match. Obviously, True Grit being on Triller now, everything like that. Mentally, you can say, the the HotTag title belt has been held aloft by Vusyk on Triller, and potentially been seen by thousands and thousands of people.
I'd like to think that. I'd 100% like to think that, and I think if I can't speak for Lauren, but I know I've watched the match about 4 times since it came out. So
it's the smaller things for me, obviously, because I spend quite a bit of time sort of backstage, and I do, like Dan always says, he's not here for the politics, he's here for the fun. I tend to deal with the politics of HotTag for the team, because I am backstage a lot anyway, so I kind of deal with anything that comes up. But I see a lot of the discussions around matches, and obviously having trained as a referee, there's different perspectives I'll look at a match from, as to, does this make sense? Why would we do this? Blah, blah, blah. And obviously the Vusyk Jacobs match was a sponsored match by Mark. Fair enough. There doesn't need to be a reason for it. But putting the belt on the line, there's almost, there has to be a reason why these two people would be bothered about it. And the fact that someone with a reputation, like, taking nothing away from Vusyk, because he's incredible, but he is a lot younger on the scene. He's taken the scene by storm, but he's by no means as experienced. For someone like Luke, with the reputation that he has and the companies he's worked for and everything he holds himself to for someone to say, right, you're going to challenge for the hot tag title belt, and for him to go, sound, let's do it, is like, what? Like, he's good with that. Makes sense. There's no arguments of, like, it's that validated within the scene, the hot tag name, that it's just like, yeah, cool. And I'm like, wow, like, it's bonkers.
But that speaks volumes for what, like, say, what you've achieved, what the HotTag Foundation have achieved since you started. Like you said, you've got that credibility now. It's validated. You know, people respect. It means something. So, as you said, Danny, you might not be seeing like results here, there, or there, but you can see the results in the fans' eyes, in the wrestlers' eyes. You know how trusted you guys are now with stuff, and what you do means something.
Yeah, 100%, and it's so important that, you know, we're just trying to be there and trying to be who we are, and that's why I'm so dedicated to the fact that, fair enough, I run the social media accounts for HotTag. However, I'll still promote what everyone else is doing, because everyone has their own individual parts, and you know, they all have their individual roles to play. They all have individual experiences and positions in British wrestling. So it's like, why not share our individuality as well as our teamwork across the board? And I don't think a lot of people see the scenes that we don't post, like the train journeys, the hours that we spend on trains, making posters, making colouring packs. Like the amount of times I've been on a train on my own, like midnight on the way back from a show that's nowhere near where I am, just for the love of it. You know, I'll be squeezed up against a door with a bag full of colouring pencils and paper, but I've still loved my experience of that show. Even if I get there 5 hours early, just to talk to the promoter and set up, make sure it's set up. And I'm quite the perfectionist, and Lauren probably will attest to that. Because when I get to a show, I'm like, right, this needs to be this. We need to make sure it's very appealing. We need to make sure it's not just thrown around. Like, I will move something 2 inches to the right if I think it's going to be more appealing to people coming over to our station and talking to us. It's the kind of person I am. I have a lot of passion for what we do. I have a lot of love for what we do, and I want to make sure that people know that we aren't just a carny. You know, it's been said before, not just a carny experience. We are a prominent part of the British wrestling community now, and I think especially in the northwest Yorkshire area, we're quite prominent. We'd love to get more down south and up north, but it's hard to do. It's hard to do as it is. So the more we take on, the harder it's going to be. So I'm very happy with the position that we are in. I'm very grateful for the position that we are in, and the trajectory is only going to go up. It just needs to make sure that we get more like-minded people on board, and that's what we are going to do.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you know, keep doing what you're doing. Quality over quantity. But I love those colouring packs. I'm so tempted to get one every time I come to a show. I was like, next time I come to a show and I've got Jensen with me, I think, you know, I'll be like, yeah, cool. I'll buy it for him, but I'll be sat there colouring it in. But you also, I mean, we talked about the Toyal, you know, the Toyal Rumble. We're talking about the, you know, Bluey. You guys, it's not just like you did the Easter egg drive as well. You know, that's something else that you've done, you know, for to raise, you know, to spread the love kind of thing, you know, to take to hospitals. That was kind of like the halfway mark between, obviously, in between Toyal Rumbles. Obviously, Easter kind of fell. So, yeah, you know, we was bringing, I think I brought about 4 Easter eggs to the True Grit show, and I was like, bloody hell, you know, there must have been about 20-25 Easter eggs there by the end of it.
That was our first True Grit experience. That was a great experience for us just to go to True Grit. That was the first time we got Bluey, our lovely championship belt. You know, that was such a fun experience as well. But I will be honest, that was something that came to me like 2 days prior to April. I thought, we're going to do this. So like, okay, so we just did it, and it worked out really well. I think we got like over 100 and something Easter eggs to places. We fed it back into the communities we got them from. So we went back to like York and other areas as well. So it wasn't like we just took them and went where we wanted to go. One of our service propositions is that we give back to the communities that give us the most, and that's what we will continue to do. So the more we get from True Grit, the more we'll give back into Leeds, into the Children's Hospital. So it's the Easter egg drive was just a hell of a lot of fun, and you know, carrying Easter eggs back and forth from York was a fun experience, especially when it was very warm. But we made it, and and we met some great people, made some great connections, and you know, I think with wrestling, it's like you bring a belt somewhere, and like carrying a belt in your backpack and 30 Easter eggs in a Matalan bag, it doesn't look as very appealing as when you get there. But just to watch them, let's set up the table with Easter eggs and let's take a picture of the belt. And I think, like, even if you have no association with wrestling, once you have a belt on your shoulder and you want to take a picture of it, that's how it works. Once you have a belt on your shoulder, once you have a belt that you can put around your waist, people want to take a picture of it. And it was very important that we collected sponsorships for people to get involved. So I think we got 4 sponsorships for the HotTag Bluey belt, which was Kingdom, Big John Rehab, shout out to Big John Rehab, Fast Count, shout out to Fast Count, and Heavy Metal Therapy, which I'd love to talk about later as well. But
Yes.
yeah, just very important. The whole drive was just really important. I can't for life remember a lot about it because it was such a mad rush. Lauren might remember more than I do, but I was just...
It was so last minute. Like we tried to get into Atomic, and Atomic were all for having us on board. But I think I got in touch with them about 3 days before their show, and they were like, "We just can't logistically do it this time." But they were all up for sort of doing something with us. Same with Infamous. I think we did actually do collection at Infamous, but I think I only picked up a couple of eggs because it was put out like once on their social media. I know Wrestle Island, we got a lot. Same with the Toyal Rumble. Wrestle Island was fantastic for the collections, and Pete and Jody over at Wrestle Island are always so welcoming. We have Prince Pele's, I think it's his boss. She loves coming to watch him wrestle. And she loves it when she sees us. Last, I think, Toyal Rumble, she bought us like 2 huge B&M bags. Because she's I mean, I'd love to have a boss like her because she literally just seems to support Sam with everything. But yeah, Wrestle Island was great. We got loads from both of those. But yeah, the Easter egg drive was so last minute. But I think people underestimate the effect that Bluey has. I mean, Bluey tends to live with me most of the time now, and I honestly have to wrestle him away from people to get out the door at most shows because someone tries to run away with that belt. Joey Slade
I love Joey Slade.
Absolute nightmare at True Grit. If he sees that belt, it's on his shoulder. He's like, "Mine. How do I win it? When can I take it?" Even before it went on Vusyk, he was questioning me. When's it going to be available to win? What can I do? How do I get involved with? How do I make it mine?
Good luck beating Vusyk for it.
Yeah, when I take it to the Northwest promotions, you've got people like Crit Cheer, like, "Ooh, shiny belt, mine."
Jack Johnson, did he not nick it?
He did nick it. He did.
Jack Johnson is terror as soon as any belt is around. But we do love Jack. I
do still owe him a receipt for him pushing me over, but we'll get to that this year's Toyal Rumble, hopefully.
So yeah, Bluey makes a massive difference, and like Dan said, the sponsors that have come on board have been huge for HotTag. Like, I really can't wait to meet Heavy Metal Therapy guys and spend some time with them because I absolutely love the sound of their sort of what they're doing. It's something I've always been quite vocal about is my own mental health, and if I can speak about any of my experiences and it helps save one person or helps drag someone out of some hole, then I will talk till I'm blue in the face. Big John Rehab literally keeps me walking. I have severe like sciatica and stuff like that, and Big John Rehab is literally my favorite person in the world because he comes to my house, makes me cry for half an hour, digs his elbow in my back, and then suddenly I can walk again.
He makes you cry before he's even started, or
no, I just tend to hate him for about half an hour, and I tell him to do one multiple times. And then like,
magic there.
Fast Count are great. They, whenever Bluey needs taking from show to show, Ben's always there to help out and great for advertising and stuff. So they've been really, and obviously Kingdom, we shouted out True Grit before, but Gaz over at Kingdom is another level. Obviously, owning a charity or running a charity himself, he gets the logistics and all the behind the scenes that has to go on, and I mean, he has so much to do to keep that thing running. all the grants he applies for and everything, all the good he does for the young people and keeping them busy and off the, like, I have so much admiration for Gaz. I'm not a religious person in the slightest, but when Gaz starts talking about the link between the Bible and wrestling, I'm hooked. I'm fascinated. And it amazes me every time because I'm like, I don't believe any of this. Like, I'm very much a spiritual person. I think there's a greater thing, but it's Mother Nature. I'm not a believer in God. But when Gaz starts on how it's all Cain and Abel and the giant versus the small, but he amazes me. I absolutely love listening to him. And
was you there for the ladder speech where he had the 2 ladders?
Yes,
That was brilliant. Yeah, it's very. I love when he does that.
The spotlight he manages to get on such a small town in Yorkshire, like being on Sky News and all that kind of stuff, that is such a testament to the hard work of Gaz, because there's so many promotions around the UK that have what most people would say bigger and better talent on, and they get nowhere near that because there's not the driving force of Gaz behind them. Basically, like, he does so much. Hey,
go Gaz. Anyway, yeah, that's me. Sorry about the flash, but yeah, I forgot I was wearing his t-shirt today. But yeah, I'll add to that 100%. Gaz is a heart and soul of the integration of charity in wrestling, and what he does to get kids off the street and stuff like that. And the stuff he does with Ben Angel and what have you is really inspiring. So the fact that we have that connection with Gaz, and he was one of our first ones, which is very important. He's our biggest fan. I always go to him with ideas. He always takes my ideas into consideration, and it lets me dangle a little bit of creativity I have in wrestling with the Toyal Rumble show and what have you. But I've always said to him, "It's your show, dude. I'm just here to like sprinkle a little HotTag magic on what we can do." So I'll hold my hands up all the time and just say thank you, Gaz. Thank you for everything you've done and everything you continue to do. Hopefully, Toyal Rumble 10 will be here sooner than later. But we'll see. I've only got enough room for enough posters on my wall. I've already got the HotTag, the original Toyal Rumble poster right there. So I'll have to just calm down for a little bit. But yeah.
Toyal Rumble X. Oh, I can see the poster now. It's massive gold X. Toyal Rumble. Oh.
100%. Wembley Stadium. Yeah.
Yes.
maybe like Odsall Stadium first.
No, yeah, we'll work our way up. Yeah, maybe Toyal Rumble 50. We'll get to Wembley.
Let's start at like Bradford or maybe Headingley. Like,
we can do Odsall. I plan to do Odsall. We'll just use the pitch instead of a room.
That's it. We'll get it out there. Get into the universe. Spiritual being. We can manifest it.
I'm gonna have to message Gaz saying Toyal Rumble 3 is going to be Anarchy in the Arena. That's just going to play. Stadium Stampede. Just put it in there. Yeah. Happy days. Awesome. Yeah. But
that's it. I mean, you've made these relationships now. You're continuing to grow, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. Like I say, you were joking about these things, but as it starts to build, as you get that momentum, who's to say, it's not going to happen down the line. The shows will get bigger. You could sort of more promotions are going to want to get involved. Just for the good that you're doing. Like sort of say Atomic, it didn't happen then, but they're open to the idea. And Atomic are a great promotion. That's over that side as well. Obviously got Wrestle Island over there. If you can get Atomic involved, it's just spreading your wings and just like you said, expanding the radius.
I will say a lot as well. I'll interrupt in there as well. Is that until we can create more ideas of what we can do and what asset we can give to a promotion, a lot of the design making things are very space limiting. So certain promotions such as Atomic and small and people packing shows in a small environment is not something that can accommodate, which is fine. But we want to make sure we can think about what we're going to do next year and what we can actually do to be involved in a smaller capacity in a smaller show, how we can work to their environments, not the other way around. So we want to make sure that we have eyes on the ground. Lauren's a great person for that because she attends 500,000 shows a year, but including her own wedding. But anyway,
I'm 2 shows behind Jeebus usually.
Yeah, brilliant, there you are. So, but yeah, there's eyes on the ground. I've got great people who give me great reports about the place that we can go, and great people who can talk about HotTag for endless days. So I think it's important that we just carry on doing that and letting people come to us. Like we can go to certain promotions and say we think we'd be a good fit for you guys, but we've had a few people come to us, and that was one of my main goals when first started, that people would come to us eventually, not us going out to them, especially across over yonder, over that side. Like I'm this side of the country, Lauren's more towards that side of the country, but we want to make sure we reach in both sides of it and make sure that we are where we can be, and we're not we can't just pop up where people want us to pop up. You need to we want to develop a good relationship with you. We want to make sure that we know your client base and your customer and your fan base first, and to know that this would work in that environment, because sometimes it wouldn't work. Like there's smaller shows that would not work, or who have more of an adult market which wouldn't work. That's completely fine. Let's go back and think about what we can do other than that.
I think that's the thing that Dan's been very conscious of, and it's something that most of us that have joined the team are quite sort of conscious of, is we know we're good people trying to do good things, but at the same time we want to bring something to the promotion that we're there at as well. Like the sign making Gaz has wanted to do sign making at Kingdom for ages and has just never had the capacity of the people, because everything's focused on doing the show. So when we came along and went, well, we can do it, he's like, yay, that's amazing. But we don't want to just be like, oh, can we come and try and do some fundraising and stuff? It's a case of, okay, can we come do some fundraising, but while we're there, we'll do X, Y, Z. We're not looking for handouts from promotions or anything. We want to be able to bring something to enhance the show day experience for everyone. And that's going to look different for each promotion. Like, obviously, even take TNT, for example. If we were to try and go into TNT, you would be looking at two different sort of products to take to the afternoon show, to the evening show. Like, we could go and sign make in the afternoon show and it would probably be quite a good hit with Ignition, but you take it to the evening show and it's going to get ignored. So it's finding that next year, it's expanding that sort of range of what we can bring, and like Dan said, also approaching other promotions, but we've got to be careful to make sure that the HotTag message stays the same. And it's making sure, we'd love to go down to, let's say we'd love to go up to North. Amazing promotion, great talent. They've got loads of room from what you can see online. However, that means one of us getting there to A, make the relationship, but then B, building the infrastructure that we can have a team there every show. And it's not, this is where what Dan was saying before about people don't see the behind the scenes. It's making sure that there's at least sort of 2 team members at every show. It's making sure that the chain of custody of Bluey's been worked out so that Bluey gets to every show. Because if HotTag turn up without Bluey, everyone kind of goes, oh, there's no belt. So there's a lot of logistics that people don't sort of realise, that I know in the next couple of months is going to end up falling on my shoulders, because someone's going to end up busy doing baby logistics.
Won't be me. I've had a really good idea from what you just said to that, Lauren. I've got a great idea. TNT, we're going to do Ignition, sign making. For DOA, we're going to do weapons making instead.
Dude, I was about to say the same thing. I was like, you could sit there and make your own kendo sticks. I've loads of wood, loads of tape, loads of this, that, and the other. Just have a table and make your own kendo stick, and then just give it to the wrestlers.
Exactly. That's it. Right, get Jay on the phone. Come on. Let's go.
Get Jay on the phone. January.
No, but
let's be fair, I think DOA might be later on in the year, so we'll see. Yeah,
like I said, there's more partnerships and connections that we are working towards, and we want to make sure that they know that we are serious, and we need prior notice to be there, and we need to make sure we can facilitate people being there. And like Lauren said, the infrastructure, although seems to be well and can be well presented, it's not as easy as it looks to be able to get 2 people to a certain show. Like the amount of the difficulty we've had to get like people to Wrestle Island, because it's Birkenhead, which is a bit of a distance away from me. It's about 4 hours away from me. But to welcome Louis on board is a major step forward, and to also welcome Jamie Lee on board is also another major step forward, because they're both great with kids. I've been assured by Louis' mother that he's a hell of a good sign maker, so I'm gonna hold her to that. And he's someone who's been there. Louis been in the scene for the 12 to 13 years of his life since he was a little boy. So like he's doing so well, and I can't wait to see the pictures of him having a good time, getting people involved, raising donations, and just doing what he can with it. And I'd hopefully that we can get as many people as part of the drop off as possible to Alder here from stuff from Wrestle Island. So shout out, if you are going to Wrestle Island, your toys will be donated to Alder here, children's charity by Lauren, Gav, and all the many people that would hopefully turn up. But we'll see. Fingers crossed. But yes, happy days. I forgot where we are. I've rambled on again, but I was
going to say, I've heard Louis is as good a sign maker as he is a ring announcer, so that sets the bar very, very high. So yeah, shout out to Louis, dude's awesome. Yeah. Obviously, another kind of new relation that you're not sort of set up there like the shows, but I would be amiss if I didn't shout out that UKW in Batley. It is a drop-off point if anybody does want to donate the toys. I believe they can drop them off at UKW. Obviously, just have a word with Nikki. She can sort that out. And as I said as well, they do sell toys at the UKW arena. So if you forget to bring any, pick some up while you're there, donate them.
That's perfect. When you mentioned that, I was like, that's brilliant. But Nikki's also a great example of the volunteers that we've brought on, that Nikki came to me with that idea. People like Lauren comes to me with ideas. And I feel like over the past, the first, couple of months, because it was I was very protective over it. It was very much over the product. It was like, oh, well, let's see first. And people just come to me with ideas now, and I love that. And it's like, yeah, do it. Just a great idea. Get UKW involved, whatever. Yeah, do what you need to do. And I think Lauren was the first person to tell me to shut the F up. And I was like, do you know what? I needed that because no one's told me that yet. And I think I was able to pull the brakes and think like, right, we can be strategic now and not, oh, this show wants us in 2 days' time. What can we do? Let's turn it around. And, be away from home or be, just so dedicated to the craft that I'm just there and I end up being there. But the matter of fact is like, no, they need to realise we are not this person. Like, yeah, that's cool. You do that. That's fine, Lauren. You be the mouthpiece. I'll be the somewhat moderately attractive face for the brand. That's completely fine. And we'll move from there. But yeah,
if I'm just the mouthpiece and you're the somewhat attractive, what does that make me?
I don't know. Please get Gav. Gav, I need an adult, please.
Gav's not going to save you. Gav's got his headphones in.
Oh shoot. Anyway, much love to you guys. I hope you got my wedding card, which looked like it's been stood on. It was not. It was put in the back of my bag with my new shoes. I'm so sorry. But did you open the cards yet?
Yeah. No, he's not giving you grief. He was asking you for help because he wasn't giving me grief. He slip of the tongue.
Slip of the tongue, bollocks.
He heard his name and he's like Joe Hendry. He just appeared.
Brilliant, fantastic. But yeah, it's very important that the people that we brought in after the process of getting people in. Because some people have come to us and go, "Oh, I want to get involved," and then they'll stop at the process because they're like, "Oh, it seems like a lot for nothing," but it's not nothing. It's a very important process that we put into it, and we are constantly updating it. Like I'm going through the code of conduct now to update it to our new processes and our new services. But like people like Kev, who's the cosplayer nightmare down south, and Fifi, who's CM Punk cosplayer, having cosplayers involved was a huge thing for us because they have integrated us with MCM Comic Con now, which was huge. We had a big flag there, and that was last minute. Sent that down to them on Tuesday. Somehow got there on Friday. God knows how we got there, but it's some of that quick decision that we were able to do instead of sending a £200 belt to to down south to back up here again. But this quick thinking like that, we've been able to quick on our feet. The photos came out great. The cosplayers looked amazing, and it was so much fun. So unfortunately, we wasn't as involved in the Talks with Dorks show, which was the start of our Toyal Rumble drive. It was very difficult because the show was organised on the same day as the Comic Con, which both of our cosplayers in the area were at Comic Con. So it was a very difficult thing to do. Will, who was one of the people that reached out to us before, he got involved. He helped with the sign make. He made that experience better for Talks with Dorks on our behalf. Great shout out to Will, great guy. And that was a great start to our Royal Rumble drive with MCM and Talks with Dorks. unfortunately, we did have a little fall short with the unfortunate cancellation of the Infamous show, which we are gutted about because the card looked incredible. I was very tempted to divert myself from Lauren's wedding to run Corn for the evening. However, that never came to suit. But fingers crossed to get it rescheduled and we can be there for the next show. And there's so much. There's 3 mega shows coming up. 4 if you include UKW. 4, if you include Friday shows, 6 or 7. But I just can't wait to see where we can be in the next couple of weeks. I'm just so excited, but I'm also nervous to be like, maybe it's always nervous not knowing what we're going to get, and to have people involved and say like, we're going to get some toys and some donations, and people turn up, we end up taking away 2 donations. It can be heartbreaking. It can feel like failure, but it's not. It's still a success. It's still something that we can work on, and hopefully, the True Grit audience are going to be an absolute lifesaver for us, and they're going to come in. Sorry to take your name away, Lauren, because she's called Lifesaver in my phone, but True Grit fans are going to be a lifesaver. The Wrestle Island fans have always been good to us. Pete and his partner's always been good to us. And Gaz at the Toyal Rumble, and their fans have always been good to us. So we've got 3 great shows that we have great residents in that we're gonna try our hardest to push and promote. Just need to give myself a kick up the bum and keep promoting it on social media and keep going. Like True Grit are doing a great job promoting what we can. Kingdom are doing a great job, and I'm going to keep rambling on because I'm just so happy that we have these partnerships and collective agreements with these organisations where they have welcomed us in with open arms, and like people like True Grit, who are quite large in Yorkshire, and Gaz, who was Kingdom, he welcomed us in like the first couple of months of our tenure. Just stuff like that really speaks to me, and it's very important to me and to the HotTag Foundation. So thank you to everybody who's reached out to us, got involved, been a part of what we're doing, and there's so much more on the horizon, because I just honestly can't wait.
Even stuff like this, like, it's massively appreciated. Sorry to interrupt you. Like, doing stuff like this, because on show days we're always so busy. People will ask sort of what HotTag's about and blah blah blah, and it's difficult to have those conversations. But like, especially while we're sign making, because there's always a kid going, "I can't find an L. Like, how do I stick this glitter down?" Like, it's madness. You can't have these conversations. So to be able to sort of put this out there and explain sort of where we're coming from and why we're doing this, that's hugely appreciated. So huge thanks to you as well, Nick.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Thank you. Hopefully we're not nearing the end of the podcast yet, because I'm having too much fun. But please,
I don't take compliments. I just hide my face. But I was going like this as well, because I'm trying to remind myself. You mentioned them earlier. Obviously, the heavy metal therapy team. They are going to be part of what you're doing soon at shows. Like you sort of said, they're there to sort of help. I encountered those guys recently because I live in Morley, I live in Leeds. We've got an awesome place called Crank here, which is like a music bar, music cafe. They have like live music and things like that. And they were there. My better half teaches something called Rockfit, and they all took part in her Rockfit class. So yeah. I know those people. Jay knows those people. She says they're amazing. So yeah, not looking forward to, but I'm happy that they're involved as well, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll give you a little backstory, because the heavy metal therapy thing was something I was involved in a few years ago. So I met Kate, who was the founder of heavy metal therapy, a few years back, and we started talking about the research into mental health and the connection it has with heavy metal and music and that kind of stuff. And then they started introducing the fact that they wanted to be more involved in neurodivergent society as well, getting involved in that, which was great. So I did they asked me to do a piece about Tourette syndrome for them, because I live with Tourette syndrome, and they asked me to do a piece for them, including songs that that speak to me and speak to my condition, and they have turned that into resources. So they take that to shows with them now, and they put them on tables so people can look at them and go, "Oh, if you suffer with maybe you suffer with PTSD, or you suffer with ADHD," or my friend Danny did a great piece on ADHD, and I did Tourette syndrome. But they bring them all to shows. People can just look at them and go, "Oh, I live with this. how can you help me? And they have such amazing peer support group networks up and down the country, where they speak to people. They have Dungeons and Dragons nights and stuff like that up and down the country, and there's no big secret that heavy metal and wrestling have gone hand in hand for decades, and they are a beautiful synergy in the term and how they work. So when we first, like at the start of the year, when we announced Heavy Metal Therapy as one of our partners, is that there was no financial partnership towards it. It was strictly in the fact that we had access to their resources and we had access to their plethora of information, including their peer support networks and how they were set up. It's something that I'm very interested in, something that I'd hope to bring into the wrestling community once I have the time and the money and the people who want to be involved in a lot. And we spoke about it before about getting involved in that kind of work and integrating it into wrestling academies and schools and stuff like that. But we're very behind on that now because it was a very tough project to take on. So maybe we'll revisit it. But anyway, I digress. But Heavy Metal Therapy.
Someone decided to get married and someone decided to have a baby, so all the things sort of got put to one side.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'm so excited that they accepted my offer to be at True Grit and Kingdom. True Grit also accepted for them to be there, which is huge. I love that. I love that completely because I sold it. I think I sold it really well. I said, like I said, there's a lot of similarity between heavy metal and wrestling, and I think wrestling fans tend to have that kind of musical influence. So having them there will just be that little extra reach into the mental health and neurodivergent community, where even if it helps one person that may not look like they need help, they've done a job, and they're doing it. They do it out. They're a CIC. They do it through funding, and they do it through their own hearts and their own expectations as well, because they all work in as therapists or physiotherapists and psychologists and stuff like that, as well as doing the CIC. So they're very dedicated people. They know what they're talking about. So if you are at True Grit Wrestling, please do have a chance to talk with either Kate or their other representative that they'll be bringing along. But such great people. I introduced Kate to wrestling very recently, and she was messaging me about the Summer CM Punk storyline 2011. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. She was like, I don't understand why he's doing all this. And then she went, she was researching about the sobriety at the time, and I was like, you need to watch the CM Punk Straight Edge Society. And she was like, okay. So she watched all that, and I was like, I don't get why he shaved his head. I was like, I don't know. But how do you explain that, really? But yeah, Kate's a great human being, and please do go and talk to them when they're there, because that's what they're there for.
Yeah, I second that. You mentioned about the divergency kind of thing there. Obviously, I did a special episode a few weeks ago with Thomas Stewart to raise. It was done on DLD Awareness Day. Also, I kind of wanted to. I tagged you guys in it. I kind of put your information in the start of the episode and everything like that as well, because for me, it just kind of made sense, because I know you guys are trying to raise awareness and do the good stuff with the Toyal Rumble. But I remember speaking to you last time, Dan, and one of the aspects, one of the key things was the positive impact that wrestling has on kids. That's why you're trying to encourage them to get into wrestling, get them to go into British wrestling shows, get them to have people to look up to, role models, things like that. And for me, yeah, Thomas's story was just embodied, what we spoke about last time with his relationship with Wes and stuff. And just being at wrestling has helped him, his communication. He's just grown, his confidence is sky high kind of thing.
Oh, I love seeing him around True Grit. Just handing out JC stickers and stuff like that. It's just such a great little kid. And their Halloween costumes at True Grit Nightmare was just off the charts. But a shout out to the Stewart family, by the way, because they're doing something really cool with their Christmas market, and the proceeds will be going to the HotTag Foundation for the Toyal Rumble drive. So we can't thank those enough for reaching out and getting involved. So thank you. Shout out to the Stewart family. Love you all. But yeah, the episode that you put out there was so important and so genuine. That's what I loved about it. And I said to you in a comment, I said, like, you can post people watching it, but sometimes it's better to have 10 people watch it and take something from it than 100 people watch it and not take anything away from it. And even if I'm not saying it will, but even if this podcast takes away 5 or 6 people, they bring a toy to a Great or to Kingdom, or 100 people watch it and nothing come about from it.
Yeah.
I'd rather take the 6 people any day, and I think that being one of the people who enjoyed the episode, and I've spoken to the Stewart family as well, and it's so important that we can use these platforms, a subsection from professional wrestling, that we can use these platforms for those communities as well, and I take my hat off to you, Nick, for being part of that episode as well, because that was a beautiful episode, so thank you for that. But yeah, maybe I've digressed from the question. I think it's something that Lauren may be able to answer better than I can, in terms of the impact that kids have on shows, because she has such a great experience at so many other British wrestling shows than I do. I run around like a headless chicken and then come out of nowhere and go, oh, let's make a sign, let's make a sign, and I'm gone again. That's all over the place. But yeah, please do ask the question again, and I'd love if Lauren can answer it.
Yeah, it's just obviously, the kind of positive impacts that British wrestling can have on kids. That's why, as much as it's cool to go to these 18 plus shows and see all the hardcore stuff, and I like the deathmatch side of stuff as well, but I do love the family shows. I love what they represent, and I love the fact that getting kids into wrestling. I'm doing it with Jensen. I'm taking him to I used to take him to Tidal when I went to those shows. I'm taking him to UKW now, kind of thing. It's just amazing to see their reaction and their confidence as well. It just makes the day, when a wrestler high fives them, just seeing genuine smiles on kids' faces, and that's what wrestling does.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about Louis a little bit before. I met Janine and Louis, I think, about 2 years ago now, and the difference in Louis is ridiculous. And Janine will tell you, he used to be so quiet and so timid, and he still is now. Sometimes he's a little bit dubious to say hi, and he'll hover a little bit before he puts up the courage. But when I first met him, you would never hear his voice in a crowd. And now I sit there and I'll be busy doing something, because 9 times out of 10 everyone takes the mick out of me, because it's usually my voice that you hear in a crowd. One of the lads turned around to me and said the other day they were watching back an old TNT, and he said, I couldn't see you, but I knew it was you because I could hear your voice. And like I say, when I'm busy, obviously that doesn't happen. And the amount of times now I'll sit there and I'll be doing something, whether I'm folding t-shirts or making signs, whatever, and I'll just hear Louis' voice starting a chant, and I honestly get so proud, because I'm like, go on, kid, that's my boy.
Do you know, I think I heard Louis more than DJ King at your wedding, and he was at the opposite side of the room.
That's because DJ was too busy stuffing his face with cakes.
Oh yeah, fair point.
But yeah, speaking of the wedding, Dan's mentioned it a few times. Obviously, I got married on Friday on Halloween, and in typical me fashion, I had a wrestling show for my evening entertainment.
Congratulations.
And thank you. My nephew is autistic and gets very overwhelmed with loud noises and things like that. So the wrestling show was a complete surprise for all of our family. So he was the one person that I was slightly concerned about, whether it would be too overstimulating for him. So when he came in for the evening do and I saw he had his headphones around his neck, I was like, okay, I don't need to worry. He's at least got precautions in case. And halfway through the second match, Liam Carr had Dave Birch in a headlock in the corner, and Liam leant over the turnbuckle and shouted, "Oh, do you like Dave, do you?" And my nephew literally sat there and went, "Yeah, I do." And I almost burst into tears. I'm like, this kid who has never watched wrestling before, who is usually scared of his own shadow, was shouting back at a 6 foot flipping 4 big dude who's got someone in a headlock, and I was just that's what I love. And he'd never seen wrestling before, and now Odyssey have probably got another 15 tickets for their next show, because half of my family are like, oh, where's the closest show to Morecambe? I'm like, well, there's one in Morecambe, let's all go.
And it's still real in Morecambe.
Oh, it is. This is the one thing. Anyone who's been to Odyssey that knows me and then finds out I'm from Morecambe, they just go, This explains a lot.
It's still real in Morecambe.
It is massively still real in Morecambe,
Oh.
and I cannot wait to take my lot down to Odyssey. But yeah, it's those little reactions. It's when I'm sat. I remember years ago, being sat at an old training school training school show, and there was a kid sat front row whose dad was wrestling, and they'd clearly been told that dad's a bad guy and you can't cheer them. And this little girl, she must have been about 3, was up and down off her chair. Boo, daddy, you smell. I don't like you, daddy. And it was honestly the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. But it's those reactions. That is why we do it. It's seeing the kids get so involved that they literally they're chasing wrestlers around with their big foam fingers, trying to hit them on the head because they don't like them. Or like when they're crawling around on the floor. We see it at Salford quite a lot. There'll be a wrestler sort of crawling on the floor because they've just been knocked out or whatever, and there'll be 5 or 6 lads around them trying to pick them up and help them back into the ring. And it's so sweet. But we need that next generation for the scene to continue as it is. So just like we need the new generation of talent, we need the Maddie Morgans, we need the West Dangers coming up at 17 years old. Flipping, you've only got to look at Leon Slater. Like, I've watched that lad for I don't know how many years, and at 19 years old he's doing that. But that's a product of our scene, and like every single fan should feel a little bit chuffed and a little bit proud to be a part of something that has produced talent like that. And obviously Harley Hudson, she's not been featured on TV quite as prominently, but she's still over there absolutely killing it. Yeah, we need that younger generation of fans as well as the talent to continue going. So yeah,
I can't believe they use Leon Slater's real town in TNA, and they go from Bradford, England. Like, who
Bradford,
the hell?
England.
Instead of like, oh, from London, England, but
London or Manchester. It's London or Manchester, isn't it? They're normally the generic two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Leon's been billed from Birmingham for the last God knows how long in the UK, part of the 0121.
That's true. I've got a quick question. You say you was from Morecambe, yeah, Lauren?
Yeah.
Right. I think I spoke to Act 2 previously, and we was having a bit of a laugh, having a giggle. I'm sure it was Act 2. If it wasn't them, might have been Grayson or somebody. But they kind of said that RPD could run from Mayor at Morecambe and just totally walk it. Everybody in Morecambe loves RPD.
Yeah, the Odyssey fans definitely love RPD. I do have a soft spot for R. Ryan. He has an absolute sweetheart. But yeah, when you see the Odyssey fans react to him, I think was it when he lost his title? I think it was when he lost his title. There literally were fans walked out. Someone threw their RPD shirt across the room. There were fans in tears. Like I say, 2 or 3 of them stormed out the building. It's so real in Morecambe.
And it was betrayed by his best mate. That's what made it worse. You know, Rick Marcus just like become an outlaw, just turned. It was devastating. I'm just no.
Yeah.
Right, guys, I've just clocked the time. I am so sorry. I've just kind of feels like it's flown by. But I'm going to so I don't get shouted at by my other half. I'm going to start wrapping up. But I will sort of say, I don't know if you've heard anything yet about it or if anything's been mentioned, but I would try and maybe keep your calendars free for March next year. I believe Paul Stewart is trying to sort out a show to raise awareness, for diversions within, like just like sort of said, just anything that falls under that umbrella. He wants to put on a fun show, basically. And again, it's right up your guys' street. Everything that you're trying to do, I think it would be a perfect relationship.
Yeah, I've got the Stewart family on Facebook now, and we talk every now and again. So they know they can reach out to us if they need to ask any questions or if they want us involved. So I'd highly, suggest that they do, because we've got more people now. We've got more options to travel in, which is great. I may be off for a few months into the new year to take care of my baby boy with my beautiful wife. But you know, I'm not leaving it, but I'll be passing over a lot of the reins to the team, and they'll still be able to run it, because that's the beauty of it. It's not like there's no leader, there's no founder, there's no whatever. We're all. I chose to get a hoodie that says volunteer on it, not founder on it, because I didn't. We are all volunteers, and we are all the same. We're a democracy. We're not a, you know, it's not a
One big family.
Yeah, it's not a republic. It's not absolute, you know, hierarchy. We are all the same people. If Lauren tells me to shut the f up, I'll shut the f up and I'll carry on, because I'm not here to to dictate. And I am a bit of a stickler in emails, but I don't mean to be. I'm trying to get better at it. But I'm a very direct person. I'm like, right, this is what we're going to do. This is the strategy we're going into. I was like, yeah, it's very comprehensive, very easy to do. And it's usually about 6:30 in the morning when I blow up everyone's phones on the WhatsApp group chat saying, got a great idea. And it's like 2 paragraphs long. I'm sure everyone just looks at it and goes, oh, God damn. Go away.
But no, obviously, as sort of said, I'm going to start just letting you guys go as well, because it's getting late. You know, as much as we enjoy talking about wrestling, I don't want to keep you for too much longer. But yeah, obviously, kind of last words. Let's hype up the Toyal Rumble 2. I've mentioned UKW being a dropping point. Obviously, we've mentioned True Grit, Kingdom, Wrestle Island. Let's just drive it home. You know, that's where people can go donate what they can donate. If they can't donate, then just please share the social media posts. We discussed this last time. You know, one shared post can, you know, get 100 more eyes on it, and maybe half of those will donate instead. So, you know, if people can't donate, do what you can do to spread the word. I would say.
100%. And crazy enough, a fun fact that I do see on our professional dashboard every now and again is that we are averaging around 40,000 views a week. A week. 40,000 views a month on our profile on Instagram, which is, you know, next level. So people need to keep watching our stuff, keep looking at what we're doing, and, you know, keep driving it forward. Lauren, you can sell the Toyal Rumble drive. I will add to it at the end, and I'll sign off with the you got to reach out caption, and we'll carry on.
I don't know why you're getting me to do it, because all you've done for the last month or so is whinge at me because I'm not going to be at the Toyal Rumble.
We don't talk about that, Lauren. We don't talk about that.
Unfortunately,
I've done my crying. We don't talk about that.
So yeah, Toyal Rumble. I am gutted. I'm not going to be at the show. I know a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on in the Rumble, and it's going to be an incredible match. I have no doubt Gaz will put on an incredible show. If Jimmy's still champion up there, which I think he is, guaranteed to be an absolute banger of a match. No, he's not.
He's not. Jack Johnson beat him for it back in.
Oh God, yeah, he did. Still,
back in April, I think. I think he's against Billy O'Keefe, which will be a great match.
Is he? Oh,
yeah.
No, I'm devastated. I'm not going to be there.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Billy O'Keefe was one of the first people I ever announced into a ring.
Just don't call him biceps McDimples. You don't like it.
Ring with.
And you're not even gonna be there for his first championship win. I'm gonna have to tell him that. That's awful. It's awful, Lauren. But you know,
guaranteed to be a great show. As Dan's mentioned before that, we have Wrestle Island is this Sunday, the 10th. 9th. True Grit is Friday, the 14th. There's another one after that, is there?
No, 28.
No,
28.
28th.
29.
It's Kingdom. We're bad with dates.
We
it's
are
all
bad
on
with dates.
social media. Dan can tell you the social media handles because I don't know that, but yeah, anything you can donate, get yourself to Smith's, grab us a toy. If you can't do that, pick up a colouring pack for £2. All that will be bulked together to buy extra toys to donate to try and balance things out. And if you can't do that, like we've said, give us a share on social media, give us a like, give us a follow, tell someone you're at a show with, just anything to spread the word. And yeah, thank you so much to everyone who supported. And yeah, Dan can hit you with the social media handles because I don't know. And then we can.
How do you not know the social media handles? It's all right. It's HotTag Foundation, but it's H, the number 0, T, letter the number 4. I'm joking, it's not. It's at HotTag Foundation. So simple. The Facebook's HotTag Foundation. Haven't used TikTok in about years. I'm not going to give you that. But there's the 2 main ones that you can find. Our DMs are always open. Reach out to us. We have an email address, info@hottagfoundation.co.uk as well, which you can reach to us if you want to go through that route. But yeah, just to add to what Lauren was saying, please do, if you can, please donate to our Toyal Rumble donation drive. We've got 2 announced locations already, which include the Leeds Children's Hospital and Alderhay, which are going to be 2 great drop-off locations, and we're hoping to add 2 more with the addition to the Toyal Rumble 2 show with Kingdom Wrestling. So that's something that myself and Gaz are working on at the moment. But I will say this now. It's not been announced yet. I'm very excited. I'm going to announce it now. But all the toys that are collected from True Grit Wrestling on the 11th of last month, on the 14th of November, will be donated to the Leeds Children's Hospital by none other than Wing Commander Nash and Wesley and Serico.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to announce that. I'm very excited to have those guys on board as part of the drop off. They're both very excited for it, and hopefully they'll play a huge part in that going forward. So whatever toys you get there will be awesome. If you are at True Grit as well, I'd like to say as well, we are having representatives from Leeds Children's Hospital coming to watch the show as well. So make sure the experience is awesome. Make sure I doubt you'll see, I'm not going to be dressed in nurses' outfits or anything like that. But if just make sure that True Grit has a great show as they always do. Make sure the fans are on top tier. Get a sign made, have fun, so we can go back to them and say, this is professional wrestling. This is the professional wrestling community. This is what we're all about. We're all about having fun, and we want to make sure that it's our most successful drive yet. So thank you very much for that. That's the announcement. I'm very excited for that. I don't think it's been announced anywhere else. I hope not. It's not been announced anywhere else. But anyway, there's your insight. But yeah, get to the show. Donate via our PayPal for cash donations, which all gets logged on our email address and our OneDrive and our PayPal account as well. So everything's logged, and we have a huge service proposition and commitment to the fact that our PayPal, by the end of the year, will be at net zero, and we start all over again. So make sure you donate, and we'll see you then at Toyal Rumble 2.
Guys, Dan, Lauren, thank you so much. I'm gonna have to end it because I'm just getting overly hyped now. This always happens during, even more so on this episode. I'm kind of sat here, got goosebumps, I'm shaking, I'm just got the energy. Just that is awesome. So yeah, obviously do what Dan says, do what Lauren says, do what you can do. Every little helps. So nothing's too small. Don't think I won't bother doing it. It won't make a difference. It will make a difference. Please do it. But yeah, obviously we'll hot tagging everything when this gets uploaded. If you're not following them, hit that follow button. See what they're up to. See if they're near you. See if there's anything you can do to help. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I am gonna sign off now before I burst with excitement and happiness. But I will say to everybody watching, thank you for watching. Hit like, subscribe, share, comments, all the generic stuff we always ask you to do it at the end of the episodes. But yeah, I love episodes like this. This means a lot. So, and I obviously can't thank you two enough for just taking the time out, because I know how crazy busy you are as well. So it's appreciated.
Always got time for you, Nick. So I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, thank you for having us on. It means a lot, and thank you everyone for watching. So we shall see you at a show very soon.
There we go. And remember, always work the left side. Goodbye.